Hi guys, I hope you're all well. In this video I want to discuss, is there a best time to train for fat loss? And the reason why I'm bringing this up is unfortunately there's so much bad information out there with people claiming they can get superior results by training at certain times. So first we need to actually take a step back and look at what our goals are within the fat loss phase, and that is to create the energy deficit, to basically burn more calories than we're consuming on a daily basis, on a weekly, monthly basis over a chronic period of time. And the reason why that piece of information is important is there's people that are claiming that if you train fasted first thing in the morning you'll get superior results, but that actually ignores that key piece of information, the energy deficit. Because let's say someone does train fasted, yet they overconsume their caloric intake to the point where they're not in an energy deficit, they're not going to make progress. So regardless of whether they're training fasted or not, if they're not in that energy deficit, they will not burn body fat. So that's a key thing to remember. So people that are claiming that if you train fast you'll get superior results, what they're looking at is they're looking at acute data, and essentially if you're training first thing in the morning on a fasted, you will ultimately burn more body fat during that period. But it's really critical to realize that when you look at over a 24-hour period, you're ultimately gaining and losing body fat all throughout the day. So immediately after meals you're gaining body fat, and in between meals you're losing body fat. When you're sleeping you're losing body fat, and it's basically this upward and downward curve, and ultimately it's all to do with that the net energy deficit at the end of the day. So even if you are burning quote unquote more fat earlier in the morning, you can still offset this by over consuming calories and not being in the energy deficit. There's a really great diagram. If you type in James Krieger insulin series, there's a great diagram that shows this gaining body fat and losing body fat all throughout the day, and it's all to that net difference over the course of the day, course of the week, course of the month. So with that knowledge in mind, knowing that even though if you train fasted you'll lose more body fat acutely within that period, doesn't necessarily mean you'll lose body fat at the end of the day, week, month. It's all subject to that energy deficit, and that therefore means that you should just let your personal preference decide when you train, whether you train in the morning, the evening, afternoon. It does not matter as long as you are creating that energy deficit. And the reason why this is important is often you'll find that your performance is typically better when you've actually got some food intake inside you. So therefore let your personal preference dictate when you're training throughout the day, and making sure that you're focusing on that most important point, which is creating that energy deficit, making sure you're burning more calories than you're consuming, and then doing that over a chronic period of time will dictate whether you lose body fat, gain body fat, or stay the same. So do not believe all the hype about fasted cardio, because they're missing the real bigger picture. So I hope that's been useful. Like the video, I've enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Take care.